Okay, good morning everybody. Today I am going to be talking about Green Man Flashing, and this is a slideshow, so I'm going to be doing an in-depth character analysis. So what I'm going to be discussing is the motivations of the characters, the different kinds of relationships that characters have with each other, their general traits that they have, and key events that happen. So here are our main characters in the cast of Green Man Flashing. So we have Aaron and Gabby. Aaron and Gabby they are partners, but then later on in the play, they get divorced. You have Anna, who's a lawyer. You have Itando, and Kumalo, who's the mystery politician. Where the whole this is what like encapsulates the whole plot, and then we have Inspector Abrahams. So over here we have Aaron Machoba. So he's the black guy in the picture, as you can see, and he's the husband slash ex-husband to Gabby. He when he works for a party. I don't know. The play never mentions which type of party he does, but basically he's always fixing problems for the party. He works very closely with Lutando, and then also because of his work and because he's flying everywhere and because he goes from city to city to negotiate and do work for the party, he does have a tendency to neglect his family, which is Gabby and his son, Gabby, his wife, and his son Matthew. And yeah, right at the end, he tries to tell Gabby to not press charges on Kumalo because essentially what happens later on in the play is Kumalo assaults Gabby, and then Gabby wants her justice, but Aaron, knowing how politics works, he's actually trying to protect her, but Gabby doesn't see it that way. So we have Gabby, who's the wife slash ex-wife of Aaron. Once again, she gets in. There's many times in the play where she gets into a fight with Aaron for neglecting her and her son. Another key event that happens with Gabby is her son actually ends up getting shot by some kid for like trying to take his bike. She's the white lady in the image, just so you know. Yeah, and she's a good friend of Anna, who's a lawyer that that represents her when the assault happens from Kumalo. And then right at the end of the play, Aaron's party basically tries to move her to Australia in a nice house with kids and everything, and yeah, so that's that. But they do that in return for her silence. Now we have Anna. So Anna is the lawyer that was representing Gabby. She's a close friend. She is a feminist. She's a 44-year-old white lawyer who runs her own legal firm. She's a divorced mother with 2 daughters, and she's a little bit of a cynic or a bit of a skeptic. And yeah, interesting character. Not so Gabby and Aaron are the main characters, but yeah, these are the characters that are around. So now we go into Lutando. So he's in his 50s. He's a hardliner. He doesn't really like to change his policy. He's fiercely loyal. He is very dogmatic. He's very defensive, and he's very arrogant. He is never afraid to use force to solve some of his problems. And essentially, what happens is when Aaron and Lutando actually end up going to Gabby in light of what happened to what Kumalo did to her, essentially what happens is Lutando tries to give her a contract, but he is a little bit too aggressive. And what happens is, because Gabby got so traumatized, she actually bought herself a gun, and then she ended up shooting Lutando as well. And that's a very key event that happens, which is what Theo Abrahams ends up investigating. So we have Kumalo. So he is our offstage resident politician. I say this because you're never going to see him in the play in person. He is Aaron and Lutando's boss in the political party that they represented. He assaulted Gabby. Um, he probably was the one that who arranged the deal with his party to send Gabby to Australia in exchange for her sight. Then we have Inspector Theo Abrahams. So he's this guy over here. And essentially, what happened is he's a 54-year-old colored policeman. He served in the police branch, and when you see him in the play, he's actually talking to the Truth and Reconciliation Committee about the crimes that he did in exchange for amnesty, in exchange for him getting off the hook. He did some horrific things in that police branch, and also Theo, he's a little bit of a side character because he does sort of investigate like what happened after Gabby shot Lutando, but we don't really see him all that much. So yeah, those are the main characters. So when you do the analysis, what actually happens is you'll find out that there's like different theologies, conflicting things, especially when it comes to Gabby and Aaron, because on Aaron's side, he is very much like how can I put it? He very much wants to defend his party, but he's also like torn apart because of what happened to Gabby and what happened to his son Matthew. And when it comes to Gabby's side, like yes, she wants to press charges, she wants to get her justice, um, because she's kind of like the representative of women in South Africa. But if she does that, and if she takes on a politician like Khumalo, who's very powerful and is in a very high position, well, that's not going to end well for her. So that's what Aaron tries to warn her about, hence the name Green Man Flashing, because it might be correct for her to press charges, but it's not the correct thing to do. Anyways, that's my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.